We now have some content on the screen inside the browser, but at the moment it's not really organized. We've just added some content basically from the top to the bottom. While we can't do much styling and positioning of these headings until we reach the CSS section, we can begin to group our related content together. If we take a look again at the finished site, looking here at the home page, even somebody completely new to building websites could probably figure out which sections should probably be grouped together. We have a header at the very top, which will be one area. On the left hand side we have the sidebar. We also have a product area displaying all the products from our store. We have individual product information, such as this section here. And down at the bottom we also have a footer area. Grouping content together is fairly straightforward. We just need to surround the content in a container called a div. A div is an element and has an opening and closing tag, and it's short for a division. Back over in the index.html file, we can add some div elements to our website. Let's close this down and go back over to our index page. So the text store at the top, which was the header, is going to be inside the header group. So let's create our div tag. So the opening tag and the closing tag too. Keep this organized, I'm going to add them on their own line. And then I'm going to cut the H1 from before and place this inside of this div section. So now we have a header section. If we give that a save and then reload the browser, we don't see any changes. This is because a div is just a general container. However, they are really important and used a lot. We will see the importance more later when we get into the CSS section. Because, for example, we could group together all of the header content and apply a certain font color or a background color to the full section. Or we could set one div to be positioned on the left of the page and another div on the right hand side. So let's go back over and add two more containers. So the first container is going to be for the sidebar, which has these three headings just here. So below the div, let's add a second div. And then we can cut all three of these headings and paste them inside of here. And then finally, our third and final div, just below these two, close it off. And then we can paste in the H2 of all items. And as we progress through this section, we'll also add more content to this main section, such as the products. But for now, we'll just have the heading of all items. Give that a save and then reload. And still we see no changes, but this is fine for now. There's also another element used too as a container, and this is called the span element. To show the difference between div and span, first let's imagine we wanted to apply some special styling to the $ symbol, which we have just here, but not the price. We could surround this $ symbol with a div tag. So let's do that now. And then cut out this section and paste that in. If we save that and then reload the browser, we see something strange happens. The div pushes the $ symbol onto a new line. This is because a div is called a block level element. Elements are mostly grouped into either being a block level or an inline element. Block level elements occupy the full available width of the browser, and also it starts on a new line. Also, all the headings which we've used so far, just above and below, are also block level 2. This is why we see them stacked on top of each other, each starting on a new line. Inline elements, however, as they may sound, do not start on their own line. If space is available, they will line up across the page. A span element, which we mentioned before, as an alternative container to div, is an inline element. This means we can go back over and change div to be span. So change the opening and closing tag, give that a save, And if we refresh the browser, we'll now see the brackets and dollar symbol in line with the price text. This is how we could use div and span elements to contain or target parts of our code. They'll become even more useful later when we group together sections to apply styling and layout.